The needs of the Ukrainian army and ways to accelerate the supply of ammunition and weapons to Kyiv. These topics became the main ones at the meeting of the EU foreign ministers. The European Union intends to propose a three-stage plan to provide Ukraine with the necessary ammunition in the immediate and long term.
To immediately transfer ammunition to Ukraine, particularly 155mm artillery rounds from existing stocks or pending orders, for aggregating orders to European industry and pledged to propose measures to cut back on red tape or other bottlenecks hindering the industry from ramping up output. To procure from the European industrial base, but if there are other deliveries from other states, I don't think we should exclude that possibility from an article of Bloomberg.
The head of European diplomacy, Josep Borrell, called for the allocation of funds from the European Peace Fund for the purchase of 155mm artillery shells for Ukraine. This proposal was also discussed by EU defense ministers at an informal meeting on March 7th in Stockholm.
We need to use what we already have, what the European armies already have on their stockpiles and on the command that they have passed to the industry. Second, to ask for more, going together, a common procurement of all armies that wanted to do that all together in order to provide part of this common procurement to Ukraine, medium term. In the longer term, or not so longer, but certainly not for tomorrow, increase the defense capacity of our industry.
According to the Estonian proposal sent to the member states, the countries of the European Union should invest about 4 billion euros in joint purchases of 1 million shells. They, according to representatives of Ukraine, are needed this year to repel the Russian invasion.
This is the strategic direction we need to get to as a minimum. We are fairly confident that the industry is capable of doing this when the demand signal and the contracts are there. The only way to resolve this is to make investments and to make them now. Kusti Salm, permanent secretary of the Ministry of Defense of Estonia, in an interview with Bloomberg.
The Czech Republic plans to supply Ukraine with traps made on synthetic silk. Visually, they look like real combat vehicles and mislead the enemy because they have a thermal trail and appear on radar to receive enemy reconnaissance.
I can imagine that if we want to support a partner country that is in trouble, we will send them infotech inflatable decoys, and there are already there or certainly will be.
The EU is already helping its members supply Ukraine with weapons through a separate fund. Funds from it are used to reimburse countries that transfer weapons to Ukraine. Currently, 3.6 billion euros have been paid in reimbursement under the mechanism, and EU countries have agreed to invest another 2 billion euros in this year.
I believe it is time that the European defense industry moves to a wartime economy model to cater for our defense production needs. I am fully determined to support the production ramp-up of the European defense industry to face the realities of a high-intensity conflict, starting with the question of ammunition. Thierry Breton, EU Commissioner for the Internal Market, in an interview with Politico.
The final results of the negotiations will be announced by EU defense ministers after the meeting on March 8th. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Husak, UATV News.